Yes. So yesterday we have seen uh, how frequently Salesforce come up with the new releases and Salesforce improve the existing functionality and Salesforce upgrade its existing CRM product. So around the year there are actually three different releases that comes after every 4 months. That is what the policy of Salesforce to upgrade itself. So whenever a new release comes, that is not in a form of version. Salesforce provides something called as seasonal release. So in a financial year, Salesforce have three different seasons, three different seasonal release called winter, spring, and summer. Now, presently, you must know this because sometimes they could even ask this in the interview as well. What is the present release? What is the previous, and what is the next release of Salesforce? So presently, we are on to summer 22, which is going to be get changed on 15th October for Indian Standard Time. It would be like 10:30 p.m. in the night. And if present is summer, right? What would be before that? It would be spring. Spring 22 was the previous release. Presently, we are on to summer, and the next, on coming on the coming 15th of this month, 10:30 p.m. in night, we all will going to have a new release. That would be a winter 23 release. That would be a winter 23 release. Understood? So this is what we have seen in the last lecture. Let me now start with a new topic, and that is how many different editions the Salesforce will provide. Just give me a 1 second. All right. See, when we again, let's have a quick comparison between Windows or maybe Microsoft and the Salesforce. So see, I told you earlier as well. When we go with Microsoft, no product of Microsoft is actually free. If you wanted to have something from the Microsoft, you actually would require to purchase it. Well, let's say, uh, let's talk about the Microsoft operating systems, right? Even in the operating system, they have different flavors. They have different versions of that. It all depends, like there is like Windows 7, Windows Basic, Professional, Enterprise, Unlimited. These all are what? These all are the categories of different operating systems the Microsoft usually have. Even for the Windows 10 as well, they have something, a professional edition, a student edition, home and student edition. So they are having different editions of that. Now see, for every edition, there is a different set of functionalities that what Microsoft is offering. In the same way, but there is nothing which is free. Even if you go with the basic edition, or maybe a home edition, or maybe a student edition, then you again have to buy it. You again have to buy it. We cannot say that this is something which is very basic in operation, and so Microsoft would provide you, free of cost. It is not. It is not like that. Actually, you have to purchase it, right? So in Microsoft, nothing. There is no facility. There is no tool. There is nothing. No application that Microsoft would provide you free of cost. There's nothing. No policy with the Microsoft with that. Now see, Salesforce actually, have a different state of mindset actually. The way the Salesforce is doing a business is actually understand one thing. Salesforce want to create the resources around the world. Salesforce wanted to create the resources, the Salesforce resources. So what Salesforce has developed a policy that there must be something, there must be something. See, if somebody rather wanted to learn Salesforce, okay, if somebody wanted to learn Salesforce, then we must help him out. We should provide him at least something so that he should, he should learn Salesforce, and he later on he would obviously going to become a resource. He would obviously going to become a resource of Salesforce, and he would also could help to grow the business, to grow our clients, and could help our clients, could help to grow the business. So in the Salesforce, we have both kind of editions. We have paid editions for the business, right, for the organizations who wanted Salesforce as an end-to-end solution. And then we also have something called as free editions. And this free editions are what? These are being used. All right. So these are being used, these are being used for the training purpose. These are being used for the training purpose. So Salesforce provide you both of the editions, free edition and paid edition. Okay. Let me now start first of all with the paid editions, and then we'll gradually would understand what is a free edition, how many different types of free editions are there. All right. So in terms of paid editions, Salesforce have four different kind of, four different kinds of applications, four different kinds of editions actually. The first is essential, second is professional, third one is enterprise, and the fourth one is unlimited. These are the four different editions in terms of paid version. Now, essential, essential is the most basic version of Salesforce, and it is mostly used with small organizations. It is mostly used only with the small organizations. Why? Because when somebody purchased this essential edition, right? So it would have only basic CRM functionalities, and that to be this edition could only be given. In this edition, the maximum number of users that is allowed, the maximum number of user licenses that is allowed is only 10. That means if your organization size is maximum 10, all right, you wanted to only have 10 users. You're having only 10 users who are going to use Salesforce CRM, and you wanted to have only basic you wanted to have only basic functionalities, right? Basic functionalities of the CRM, then you can go with something called as essential edition. So this is particularly precisely, I could say it is only for the very small organizations, right? As I've told you, I think in yesterday itself, I told you that Salesforce supports every kind of business, though it's a very small startup firm, it's a mid-level, mid-market kind of firm, or it's a big enterprise, it's a big MNC. Salesforce actually provides support to every kind of organization. All right. So it obviously have different, obviously it should have different versions for this. So the where is it? So this essential edition, it's actually essential edition is particularly for the very small organization. If they wanted Salesforce to become their technology partner, if they wanted the sales to get take the benefits of Salesforce CRM, and they particularly have a very small team, maybe somewhere around 10 or limit or less to that, then they can go with the essential edition. How much it is going to cost them? $25. So on $25 per user per month. See how limited is the cost. How limited? $25 is nothing. All right. In terms of India, even if I wanted to convert this, so what is the present Indian rate? It's going day by day down actually. Country is right now facing a very big financial crunch. Okay, so if I compare, say $25 is somewhere around like 2,000 rupees plus some taxes per user per month. And why the cost is very less? Example for you, if you are having a size of 10%, it goes somewhere around like 20,000 per month. But how much business you are going to generate with that? That is a very big thing. So Salesforce is costing very less. It's costing very less. Why it is like, because this we all know that whatever the facility the Salesforce is providing, every facility is on service module. You're actually going with a what I could say, you're going with a subscription module, and you are not becoming, you are not getting a user license, you are not becoming an owner of the product. Rather, you are what? You are a subscriber of that product. You are using because you asked, you promised, and you paid for a subscription module. So that is the reason, cost is very less. and everybody, a small business could also afford it. A small business could also afford it, right? So that was Essential Edition. The next enhanced version, the immediate enhanced version is Professional Edition. Now, Professional Edition it consists of what is the difference? I mean, what it would make a difference between Essential and Professional is like inside the Essential, you have a few set of CRM, but most of the functionalities they are not over there. But with the Professional Edition, you will going to get the complete solution of CRM. Whatever the functionalities have been provided by the Salesforce, everything you will be going to get inside the Professional Editions. That is one thing. And the another difference between Essential and Professional is like, Essential could be, if you are having this edition, you could maximum ask for the 10 user licenses, not more than that. But if you don't wanted to add any restriction into this, you're having I could say your team size is a little bit more, all right, then you can go with something called as the Professional Edition. Professional Edition. Now, this Professional Edition, again, it could be given for any number of team size, any number of team size. All right. But the costing would be $75 per user per month. Now, this was one thing. Now, see, there's one thing which is common between there's one thing which is common between Essential and Professional. Okay. And that's the reason we generally kept them, we generally keep them into the same group. Now, what is that which is common between Essential and Professional? Both of them only provide you SaaS functionalities. Both of them only provide you the SaaS functionalities. What is a SaaS? Software as a service, right? Software as a service. When somebody is using an Essential Edition, or maybe is using a Professional Edition, maybe is using a Professional Edition, something which is common between them two is like, both of them only provide you the SaaS functionality. That means with these additions, with these versions of Salesforce, Essential and Professional, you can only understand how we can use an application, but you cannot create an application. If you are a Salesforce developer, all right, if you are a Salesforce developer, if you are a member of a developer team, and you are particularly involved in, developing a product, then you cannot use Essential and Professional. So as a part of our journey, we would going to be require either an enterprise edition or unlimited. These are the two recommended, what I could say, editions. So whenever we are going to work in real time, I'll be showing you that. No worry. Whenever we are working in a real time, either we are using enterprise edition or unlimited edition. Why? Let me clear out that difference as well. With the enterprise edition, you are over here, you also get like complete CRM. Over here as well. Inside unlimited also get the complete. But additional to this, what you get is force.com platform. Inside enterprise edition, inside inside unlimited as well. And see, force.com is something which is required. Why it is required? Because if I wanted to do a development, right? Let me go take you back to that topic. PaaS, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. You remember one thing, PaaS is for whom? PaaS is for the developers. Platform as a service. I told you that Salesforce provide you all three kinds of cloud services, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. But SaaS particularly is for our end users. And if as a developer, if you wanted to develop something, you have to go with PaaS. PaaS provide you that platform, force.com, database.com. These are some of the things, whenever we develop an application, whenever we create an application, being a software engineer, being a Salesforce engineer, Salesforce developer, when we develop something, we certainly require a platform called force.com. Without this, I cannot develop anything. And this is not available with Essential and Professional. These are actually for the end users. These are actually, I'll tell you that, I'll tell you the details of this. First of all, understand the technicalities, understand the differences over here. So these two additions are, for our customers, for our clients, for whom we are building the product. But when we are building the product, the environment, what we are using, either it's enterprise edition or the unlimited. Enterprise have complete set of CRM functionalities along with the force.com. It could be given to any number of user like here as well. But the cost would be $150 per user per month. For the unlimited edition, again, you will going to get this. And additional to this, what you get is 24/7 support from the Salesforce. And one more thing, you would got app exchange as well over here. You get 10 GB for data and 10 GB for file. And it could also be given to any number of users. You don't have any restrictions on the licenses. And the cost would be like $300 per user per month. So under now let me try to show you for some few other things. I'll continue with this discussion. So for our working, whenever we as a software developer, we wanted to work on something, we require the minimum requirement or R is enterprise. Otherwise, we always ask for the unlimited version of Salesforce. So I make you understand about this. See what happens when somebody comes to us as a customer, as a client, and he describes his requirement. He let us know this is something which I wanted to had a product for. And this phase of interaction, we usually call this as what as a discovery phase, or maybe requirement gathering, whatever. There could be few different terminologies as well for this, but otherwise it's a set of meeting. And usually the people, those who are architects, and those who are consultants, senior consultants, and project managers, business analysts, usually people, those who are having this portfolios, they make an interaction, they make an initial interaction with the clients. So being an architect, I also sit with every client meeting, and I just try to understand what the business is all about, what the requirement is all about. So after the discussion, everything has been over, and then we designed something called as a scope of work, SOW. This is one of the document where we write everything, whatever was in the discussion, and what requires to be get developed, and how much duration, what could be the team size, and whatever the requirement. Now our requirement first was like understanding user requirement. And once we are clear with that, so we prepare a document where we mention like whatever the outcomes of the discussion, we summarize them. We summarize them into one document called as SOW, scope of work. And there we describe, okay, what would we require to do this development. And see, I don't know you know this or not, but in a software industry, if there are certain tools what you require for development, right? Like in our case, for the Salesforce development, we either require enterprise, or at least enterprise, or otherwise, we always ask for the unlimited edition. So what we suggest to the user is like, okay, we would going to require the license versions of editions. So this costing is again paid by our clients, right? If you require any tool, if you require to get the license version, license copy of any tool, that is again kept inside SOW, and your client would have to pay for this. You will not, as a company, you will not going to pay for this. This is what a usual process in software industry. So we will give our client two options, that that kind of Salesforce edition what we require. In the minimum case, it would be enterprise, or the recommended would be unlimited. But for enterprise, you have to pay $150 per user. And for example, if I'm having a team of 10 developers, they are working, so the cost would become 150 multiplied by 10. And for the unlimited, you have to pay $300 per user. And if we are a team of like 10 people, it becomes 300 multiplied by 10. So it's always, it's always a part of discussion with client. Okay, depending upon what is the organization size and all that. Sometimes if we are working with a mid-size organization, understand one thing. If we are working with a mid-size organization, and we know that this organization is not so big, and it's a mid-market, or maybe just a startup firm. So we obviously, from our side itself, we don't suggest them unlimited. But we make them key for our working. I mean, for development of this product, you at least would require to purchase the license of unlimited enterprise edition. How many licenses? Let's say we wanted a total of 10 licenses. Let's say we wanted a total of 15 licenses. So we ourselves would have, based on what is the industry size, and what is the type of industry is, based on that we make those recommendations. Minimum we require an enterprise, and we always try to get unlimited. With some big organization, we ask them about for the unlimited edition. When we know that client is having that much of paying capacity, that he could pay $300 per user per month to the Salesforce, then we ask them for the unlimited, because unlimited would provide you lots of facilities. So I have worked so many times on unlimited, but right now I don't have. I am for these two projects, for both of them, I'm having enterprise with me. But I have in past, I have worked on the unlimited as well for many projects I have worked. And you will, when you will start working, you will going to understand the differences between like enterprise, working on enterprise and working on. All right. So this is what this is what different editions, the different paid versions, the different paid versions of Salesforce, right? So as a part of development, we require either enterprise minimum or unlimited. We always try to get unlimited license, but if the organization is not having that much of paying capacity, we recommend that this is the minimum. I mean, this is the minimum development requirement. You cannot develop anything on essential and professional. That's for the client. If the client wanted just to have a SaaS service, he can go either with essential or a professional. But for the development part, the minimum requirement is to have an enterprise edition. All right. Now that was all about paid edition. Now let's come to the second part of discussion, that is free editions. See, yesterday I was telling you one thing. When you go for a SAP course, so why that the fees of SAP courses, they are very costly? Because now, for example, if you come with me, for example, I'm teaching you some modules of the SAP, all right, and there are 10 guys of you who come to me for learning this. So I would ask you for that licenses cost as well, because I have to pay. See, if you wanted to learn something, you should have an account. You should have an access to those applications. Now in SAP, it is like, when I cannot give you my logins. All right. So you must obtain your own. And how you are going to obtain, you also would require to pay the licensing cost. So that is something which I will be including that into your fees amount. And let's say the licensing cost is minimum, it's 1,50,000 plus my teaching. All right. And that my teaching is somewhere around like 1 lakh. So your fees becomes, your fees now becomes 2,50,000. So out of that 2,50,000, you are paying me lakh rupees just for, you are paying me lakh for learning staff with me, from me, sorry. And the whole that 1,50,000 you are just paying, why? The SAP, to just obtain the license version copy. And that is the reason, that is the reason, even if you go for the training cost is very high. But that is not with Salesforce. Salesforce is very good in terms of humanities, in terms of human values. So Salesforce provide you free editions as well. That without paying anything, you could get a licensed your own personalized copy, but which you can use for your purpose of learning, which you can use for your purpose of training, getting trained with the Salesforce and becoming a Salesforce resource. So Salesforce provide you, two different sets of a free edition. The first is a free trial, 30 days trial account. If you create this account, it would last for next 30 days, for a month, and after a month, it would going to expire automatically. So we will be going to create this as well, but the situation would be a different. Circumstances would be a different. I'll be showing you how to create and why to create 30 days trial account. This is going to be a part of discussion, right? This is going to be a part of discussion later on. अभी अभी इस वक्त जो हम create करने वाले हैं ना, that would be something called as a free developer account. Now this free developer account is a permanent account, right? It is a lifetime account. Unless and until for the next 365 days, you won't access it. Then and then only it becomes, it's going to become deactivated. It's going to become absolute. Otherwise not. Otherwise, Salesforce would this account would always be there inside Salesforce if you use it frequently, right? This is not going to expire. Now I mean, if something is provided you free of cost, we could what we could see. I mean, how to describe it that. What we could assume would be like, कि शायद हमको essential edition या फिर professional editions या फिर हो सकता है मिला जुला कुछ ऐसा हमको free में मिले. Because see, when somebody is offering you something on free, obviously he's not going to provide everything. But see how the Salesforce is motivated. Whatever the functionality you get with unlimited edition, apart from few of the things like, you are not going to get 10 GB of space over there. The bandwidth is reduced. But in terms of functionalities, complete CRM, force.com, 24/7 support from Salesforce App Exchange, right? Everything, whatever you get with the unlimited edition, they are present with free developer account as well. तो आप सोच सकते हो कि Salesforce किस तरह से एक ऐसा मोटिवेटेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो आपको बिना $1 जो मतलब if somebody in a business wanted to get, he has to pay like $300 per user per month, but that is for the organization, that is for the enterprise, that is for the business. For learning Salesforce, you certainly don't require anything. So with the same functionalities, there are few differences. I'll tell you gradually what are those differences. These are the differences about bandwidth. In terms of functionalities, everything is same. Don't worry. Even if I'm telling you that there are certain difference between unlimited and a free developer account. That is all not related to the functionalities. Functionalities are same. These are related to some project deployment and a kind of bandwidth. So that is reduced. वो अलग है. That is reduced in terms of unlimited and free developer. और वो क्या है वो मैं I'll gradually let you know onto this. But right now, see, we all will be creating a free developer account if possibly by today itself. And this free developer account would have every functionalities of your unlimited edition, whatever the unlimited edition would provide somebody by paying $300. By paying $300, right? If I compare that, how much it is? $300. It's a very big amount. See, 24,752 rupees, 25,000 almost. So somebody is getting this by paying 25,000 per month. That all functionalities you are also getting without paying a single dollar to Salesforce, right? So this is how you can now understand Salesforce is motivated towards creating a resources, and that's why Salesforce has created free editions as well. Otherwise, यहाँ से भी पैसा कमा सकता था. But it has so many human values. You will be going to learn this. You will be going to learn. I'll tell you one एक चीज बताता हूँ मैं. Just try to get this. ये किताब पढ़ो सभी लोग. Let's go with this. ये book Amazon से order करो कहीं से. Trailblazers, a book written by the Mark Benioff. Who is Mark Benioff? Mark Benioff is a person who has who bring up the Salesforce. He's actually presently is CEO of this company, and he's the founder of this company, CEO. Mark Benioff. So go and learn this book. When you read this book, not learn. When you read this book, you will be came to know how exactly Salesforce come into the existence. This is a very wonderful book. If you have अगर आपको पढ़ने का शौक है. Anyways, so I'll be taking this in a separate lecture. What does it mean by multi-tenant would be a separate discussion. Don't worry, मुझे पता है ये सब चीजें कहाँ पे लाना. And the advantages of multi-tenants and everything. Now let's move on to the topic called creating a free developer account. All right. So if I'm taking it by today, every one of you should have this by tomorrow. होना चाहिए सभी के पास. So what is going to be happen would be अब तक मैं पूरा theory ले रहा था. Pura theory. This all was theory, and there was nothing to be get implemented. Now from today onward, I mean from tomorrow I'll be starting a new topic that would be like 30% of theory and rest 70%. From tomorrow onward, it would be everything. Like 20% of the theory and rest of the 70 to 80% would be a practical. So that is why every one of you should have an account called developer account. So how to create that and everything, let me try to show you. The steps has been written. You can follow it from here, but otherwise, let me show you that. First thing first, you should have an email ID. All right, you should have an email ID. So I already have created one email ID for your batch. I'm having this email ID. All right, I'm having this email ID, and this is the place where all of the recordings which I'm sharing you is over here, right? All right, let me just close this. Now, what you require to go is you require to go to a place called developer.salesforce.com. All right. So you're required to go to a place, you're required to visit a website, you're required to access an application called developer.salesforce.com. Right. Go with this. Go with this URL. Now, when you launch this, there's a small, see over on the top right, you can see sign up, right? Sign up. Just click onto that. When you click this, there would be a small registration form that appears on the right side. Just enter everything. You have to enter your name. My convention is a little bit different, so I always name it for the badges number. I actually name it, but you have to give your name. Like if I'm Kasim Ali, so I will going to enter Kasim, and the last name would be Ali. Okay, email ID. Email ID, that working email ID, because you are going to get verifications over there. You can see in the roles, you can select anything. You can select anything, developer, architect, whatever. It's up to you. There is no compulsion. There's no compulsion. Company name, you can give any name over here. You can give any name. Select the region, you can select India, Israel, you can select India. Postal code, you can again give any, your postal code. So the only thing what you should be very cautious is, like, when you are giving a username, so username must always be in a form of email address. That doesn't require to be an email. It doesn't require to be an email ID, but it should always be in a form of email address. Like I could say, my company @test.com, right? So what we usually do is, like, we just copy this email, whatever is your email, and we paste it over here. है ना, ऐसा भी करते हैं। ये तो ठीक ही है ऑफकोर्स, बट अदरवाइज आप ऐसा भी कर सकते हो, लाइक kasim@test.com, sample@123.com. This is, but it should always be in a form of email ID. It should be an email ID, is not compulsory. It should be always in a form of email ID. User name, आप सिर्फ ऐसा अपना नाम देके नहीं छोड़ सकते वहां पे. It must be in a form of email ID. That is the only restriction you have to follow, and you can read it from here. I usually do what, the same email ID, I just copy and paste it, nothing else. So when you click this sign me up, so now what we are expecting is, like, you have to go to the email address. That's step number one. You filled up everything over here, right? You filled up everything over here. All right. So now Salesforce will tell you that please check your email to confirm the account. So now after this, you just have to wait for a few minutes probably, and you are going to get one email ID onto the email for what you have supplied. So you are going to get it from the support.salesforce.com. Just required to wait for a few minutes. So the step number one is always to go and fill up the form. That is step number one over developer.salesforce.com. And then step number two, you would just require to verify the account from one of the email which we are expecting onto this email ID. Sometimes it goes to spam, so you have to check it over there as well. I don't have anything over here. All right, just let's wait. This is the only thing what I could do. Yes. Meanwhile, if you wanted to, ask any questions, today I have a remote. So you are having the command and unmute yourself. If somebody wanted to ask me anything, meanwhile, till the time I'm waiting for this email, आप में से अगर किसी को कुछ पूछना है तो you can utilize this time. Let's wait. This is the only thing what we can do. Any questions? Are we required to wait? Sometimes it comes immediately, sometimes it takes time. That all depends on, that all depends how much traffic the Salesforce server is having. Based on that only. So there is no, we have it, right? See, developer@salesforce.com. Welcome to Salesforce and verify your account. Okay, you have to go with this email. You have to go with this email. And there is, don't do anything with this links. Don't do anything with these links. Right? Just straightforward, go to this verify account button. All right. Don't do anything with these links. Understand this? And just go and verify the account. So verify your account. So here you would require to enter the passwords and all. Here you would require to enter the passwords. Etna, could you please mute you? I muted you. All right. Then you have one security question. Whatever the question you are selecting, right? These are the questions, and what the answer you are giving, you have to remember it. Have to remember it. All right. So when you click onto this change password, when you click onto this change password, right? This is your Salesforce account. This is your Salesforce account, a developer account. So for the first time, whenever you will land to this, right? For the first time, you will always going to be get landed onto lightning experience. You will always going to be landed onto the lightning experience. This is what something called as a lightning experience. All right. So whenever you will, for the first time, you will be landed, so you are going to be get landed onto lightning experience. This is something called as lightning. This is something called as lightning. This is something called as a lightning experience. So what you require to do is you actually would require to migrate yourself from lightning to the classic Salesforce classic, because that is the place, that is going to be the environment where you are going to do your practice, right? So what we require to do, we require to make a switch from lightning environment. This is a lightning environment. We'll have to make a switch from lightning environment to the Salesforce classic. So how to do that? Just see the navigations. First of all, click onto this panda icon. Click onto this panda icon over here, right? Over here, click onto the panda icon. And if you see that when you click onto this, into this drop down, menu, when you go to the last, there are two options: add username, and then there is something called a switch to Salesforce classic, right? Switch to Salesforce classic. That is something that this is the link what you require to click. So make a click over there. And now this is something which we will be using for rest of our training. And what is this? This is Salesforce classic environment. This is what our Salesforce classic environment. This is our account. So every one of you by today, would require to create this account, because from tomorrow onward, you will be going to learn practical things. But tomorrow onward, abhi tak mein bahut theory padha diya maine. The whole structure and rest of the introduction part 2 हफ्ते से यही चल रहा है. Abhi, now from this onward, there would be everything would be just practical. एक 10-20% का theory रहेगा. Rest other everything would be like what, you have to perform it over here. You have to execute it over. You have to design it over here. So by today, every one of you create this account, a developer account. This is something called as a developer account. All right. So this was the first thing. Now see, if I close it, now second time, if I wanted to make a login, all right. So you don't have to go with this email, and you don't have to click onto this link and go with this username, whatever, right? You actually don't require this. What you require would be you have to go with login.salesforce.com second time, and you will be going to understand. Don't worry. Second time it would be login.salesforce.com, and I'll be make a login from here. I'll be going to make a login from here. And then after entering username, I would enter my password. All right, and I make a login. So when I make a login, it would ask you, do you wanted to register your number? You could register your number, and that is actually something which is recommended for a two-way authentication process, for a two-step authentication process. You should register your mobile number. I usually skip this, and why I skip this? Because for every batch, I have to create one account, right? For every batch, I have to create one account. So I obviously cannot register my number for this, but it is something which is recommended. You should do this. You all should register your number. I usually don't skip it. So either I go with remind me later, or I don't want it to register mine. So I don't want it to register mine, right? So this is when for the second time, when you from second time and onward, whenever you log in, you don't require to go with Salesforce developer.salesforce.com. Rather, what we require to go with something called as login.salesforce.com. And here we require to enter our username and the password. All right. So for the first time only, when you are creating an account, right, you have to go with developer.support.developer.salesforce.com. Fill up the form, press sign me up. When you press sign me up, the first step has been done. Now in the step number 2, you have to go to that particular email ID. You will going to get an email over there. You have to go and click on verify account button, right? Then enter your password and remember it, right? Remember whatever you are entering, you could create a separate file called credentials, like I usually do, because I have so many credentials, right? And not everything I could remember, and not every password of mine is same. Always for everything, I have a different set of passwords, right? So this is what I recommended. आप लोग अपना भी एक file बना के रखें इस तरह से. And so when after entering passwords and everything, first time आप जब land करते हो, तो you will be initially going to land on what? For the first time, you will be login. You will be going to land it on what? A Lightning interface. So you have to make a switch from Lightning experience to the Salesforce Classic. And you have to make a switch from the Lightning experience to the Salesforce Classic. So this is going to be the environment for the first time when you are going to, right? When you will be landed for the first time. You are going to land it onto this environment. लेकिन आपको यहाँ से हटना है, and you have to go to a place called Salesforce Classic. Salesforce Classic. तो यहाँ सबसे नीचे में यहाँ पे link रहता है. Second last actually, switch to Salesforce Classic. Right? Switch to Salesforce Classic. So this account, I wanted every one of you should be prepared by today itself. ये आज हो जाना चाहिए. Because कल से whatever you will be learning, whatever you would be learning would always be a practical, right? And this is one thing. First of all, you asked me if you want to ask. I have a separate announcement. So for that, I am going to stop the recording. Yes, you have any questions to ask me? Please ask me. Yes. Do you have any questions for me? Come on, चलिए. कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं तो पूछ लीजिए आप. Because फिर मैं recording stop कर रहा हूँ, फिर कुछ बातें मैं करना चाहता हूँ.
हेलो.
Yes, Ruchira.
सर जैसे कल आपने सैस के बारे में बताया था, एक एग्जांपल देके कि यूट्यूब एक सैस जैसा है कि जिससे अपन स्टोर करते हैं, ज्यादा बहुत कुछ नहीं होता. वैसे ईआस का कोई एग्जांपल बताइए ना.
किसका? ईआस का?
हाँ.
GoDaddy, IBM,
ओके.
Oracle offers you both of the thing, EAS plus SaaS as well. But you store your data over their servers, right? IBM fully is EAS only.
इन एप्लीकेशन, मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन ईआस यूज कर सकते हैं क्या अपन? नहीं ना.
मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन तो नहीं पता मुझे. But EAS is mostly with, like example, अगर आप कोई वेबसाइट होस्ट करना चाहते हो, you have a business and you created a website for that. Now you wanted this website to be get launched on www dot, right? So what you will be doing is something called as hosting. For hosting, you would require to, store your website onto the web servers. So you would require to contact people like GoDaddy, and you make a contact to them that I'm having a website that requires to get hosted. Can you please provide me certain server space for this? They will provide you, okay, we are having different plans. है ना? So whatever the plans that suited to you, आप उसको पैसा देगा, and you will be going to purchase a server space from GoDaddy, and your website would get launched. So this could be one example. Mobile application नहीं पता मुझे.
Okay.
All right. Yes, any questions? Fine. Let me first of all stop the recordings.